Coming up on Hunter News Now, Bill and Melinda Gates stopped by Hunter to talk about their 10th annual letter and their optimistic views about the state of the world.
And do you feel safe on campus? We'll find out what new precautions are underway at Hunter after the Parkland, Florida shooting.
And you'll meet our Scholar Athlete of the Week, who shows us that fencing is more than just a sword play.
All that and more in this edition of Hunter News Now.
Welcome to Hunter News Now. I'm Cesar Perez.
And I'm Caitlin Munson. After the deadly shooting in Parkland, Florida's high school, college campuses across the country are doing their part to ensure a safe environment for students and faculty. At Hunter College, the safety of everyone on campus is the highest priority, and school security has already been updated since the shooting on February 14th. Alexandra Ali has more on what Hunter College is doing to keep us safe and how students are dealing with the recurring reality of school shootings.
I think maybe out of all the days I've been in this school, I guess today I feel the safest.
Many Hunter students have already noticed a change in security since the shooting in Parkland, Florida.
Today was the first day out of me being in school here for 3 years that I had a security guard look at my ID card and see that that person was me. And that was very shocking. You know, especially with what's going on, I'm actually pretty happy they did that, because now I know today specifically no one came in as anybody else. Everyone who's been into school is who they say they are.
Junior Kaylin Vasquez thinks students need to take their security concerns nationwide and demand change.
It's people like us who are being put in graves, so we need to be the ones who step up and do something, as schools are doing throughout the country. There's been a lot of walkouts, a lot of protests. I think we need to continue doing that, because we're the next generation of voters, and we really need to let them know that it's our lives on the line.
Hunter's administration is well aware of the risks of an active shooter on a crowded campus and are paying more attention to the way students are acting, doing the most to avoid a preventable situation at Hunter College.
Our faculty are paying more attention to listen to students, what they're saying, what they're writing, what they're asking, the material, the discussion in class and so forth, and they are alerting us.
Aravayan says a new active shooter procedure will be presented to the Hunter Senate March 28th.
Hunter students, staff, and faculty who believe to be in danger on campus should dial 911 or contact Hunter Public Safety at 772-4444. In addition, silver boxes such as these are located throughout campus and will connect you immediately with an officer. Alexandra Alley, Hunter News Now.
Hunter's Muslim Student Association has a prayer room on campus that have been defaced by graffiti this semester. A member of the group, Najfil Bari, says he's been going on for weeks now. According to Bari, the graffiti translates to "God is dead." The Muslim Student Association is not the only group that have been targeted. Graffiti was also found on the bulletin boards belonging to the InterVarsity Christian Fellowship. Bari will be joining us in the studio a bit later to talk about this and what can be done to promote tolerance on campus.
Hunter College has filed a lawsuit against the former student who is refusing to leave her Brookdale dorm room. According to court documents, Hunter says the woman who is in her 30s is illegally squatting in the dorm more than 2 years after she dropped out. The complaint says she now owes the college more than $90,000 in unpaid resident hall charges. The former student, who was a geography major, told CBS News she's not leaving her room and will fight the lawsuit.
A billionaire, his wife, and Broadway star took to the stage at Hunter College on Valentine's Day to share their optimistic view of the world. Microsoft founder Bill Gates and his wife Melinda answered questions from Hunter alum Lin-Manuel Miranda and the students in the audience about their foundation's 10th annual letter. Gates says that by almost every objective measure, the world is becoming a better place, especially when it comes to childhood mortality.
When we got going, about 12 million kids were dying a year under age 5. Now, because of vaccines and things that we've done with partners, that number is under 5 million.
Gates did criticize Trump's administration's America First policy and cutbacks on foreign aid, arguing that engaging in the world benefits everyone, including Americans.
One issue that's engaging a lot of millennials is whether marijuana should be legalized. According to the Pew Research Center, nearly 3/4 of people from 18 to 35 years old say it should be legal. In this edition of Hunter Students Speak, I asked Hunter students what they think.
People that smoke marijuana are not horrible people.
I think it would be better for people because people wouldn't be getting it in sketchy ways and it would just be safer.
Finally, because for so long there's been this legalize it campaign, and now it's like the government is like, okay, now we're gonna let you smoke weed.
Yeah,
but I know that
in terms of businesses and taxes and whatnot, it's benefiting a lot of states. And if the government sees it as in its best interest to, then it might. I don't know about so much sending a message as being pro-pot. So.
I think it does more good than harm because, people who are smoking weed don't really harm anybody.
Power move and a money move, you know what I'm saying? I think if marijuana is legalized, it's going to end up being a change in the economic disposition, you know what I'm saying? People are going to be making a lot more money.
if you're a person who's going to manage yourself, the fact that you smoke weed isn't going to change that. So I think it's ridiculous that it's illegal because people get arrested over something that's not even that important.
A lot of conservatives, it won't allow us to actually legalize anything.
If the government did legalize it, then it'd probably just be saying like, all right, it's not that big of a deal if people want to smoke or,
I think if you could smoke cigarettes, you should be able to smoke marijuana.
I think it should be legalized, but maybe to an extent. Like, for example, if you do legalize it, at least give them a place or like an area where they can do it and then, not get in trouble for doing it.
And people's lives are ruined over something like a marijuana possession. It's like, there are people killing people, like.
You know what I mean? You can face a lot of different harmful effects because of the government, maybe not because of marijuana itself, unless you're inexperienced with it, you know what I mean? It's not for everybody. It can go a lot of ways when you use it.
Love yourselves more. So you wouldn't put smoke in your body if you love yourself. I do it, and I'm stupid for doing it, but I know what I'm doing.
Coming up on Hunter News Now, Nafi Bari, a member of the Muslim Student Association, will join us to discuss the recent graffiti attacks on the group's prayer room on campus.
Stay with us. In the last few weeks, offensive and bigoted graffiti has been showing up on the walls of different religious clubs on the campus. Members are expressing concerns about their personal safety and raising questions about how to promote more tolerance and different religions on campus.
Joining us to talk more about this is Nafi Bari, a member of the Muslim Student Association. Nafi, welcome to the studio.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So just tell us a little bit, briefly, what happened exactly?
So as you know, in Thomas Hunter 4th floor, we have our Interfaith Center, where we have the Muslim Student Association, InterVarsity Christian Fellowship, Hillel, Hindu Student Association, and Sikh Student Association. It's a space where we all come together for spiritual activities and to really, have a great time with one another. And recently, for the past weeks, we've been seeing, acts of vandalism all over our floor, on the bulletin boards, on the walls, even in our own club spaces. So it's a disgusting act that really, caught a lot of our attention. And it's disturbing, it really is. And most recently, one of our sisters from MSA got affected by it in front of her kids. Yeah.
What is the administration doing regarding this issue?
So what happened was, it's been going on for a few weeks, but we didn't really have a face behind it, and we didn't really know who it was until much recently when the sister got attacked. That's when we brought the concern to public safety. But, the excuse they had was that, it's his amendment, it's his First Amendment right, his freedom of speech to do so. So not much action was taken. But then last week, one of the members from the InterVarsity Christian Fellowship, Alan Mancharo, he went with me to the dean's office and we were able to take action. They physically went to the area and they got to see it for themselves, along with taking some pictures of the incidents too.
Wow, that's absolutely heartbreaking. What do you believe the motives are behind these acts?
The motives, It's been a common thing since the beginning of time. It's to create division, to create hate amongst one another for their own personal reasons. And I personally think that he doesn't have one certain motive, but I truly believe that he is a troubled individual who needs some more attention, who needs to see someone and who can really, fix this problem, because then it might turn into something else. So it's not one set clear motive, but a bunch of motives, I guess, that come into one. And the main reason is to create division, to further hate.
For these people, what do you think is the biggest misconception that they have about religion or the Muslim faith in this case?
The biggest misconception they should have, and speaking on behalf of a Muslim, it's I want to say that the acts of a few should never determine for all. So, for example, the acts that a few do, whether it be in this country or around the world, should not affect every single being who identifies as that. So, whatever's going on in certain areas in the world should not affect me as a Muslim living in the United States. I'm trying to practice my faith the best as I can, and I'm trying to help my community the best as I can. Community as in not only just Muslims, but non-Muslims alike, everyone alike. Because, we do believe in unity. If you save one, you save all, as mentioned in our faith. So, it's during times like this, I really hope that we can have a talk with him, get him to talk with us, because we're forgiving people. I forgive. We don't have anything in our hearts, any hate in our heart. None of us do, none of the clubs do. So we want to definitely talk to him, and I hope he can express some more without really vandalizing our space.
As a student body, do you believe there's any way that we could promote tolerance?
Absolutely, talking about it more. I think it's been too long in our American history. Now we're seeing a big shift and big change. I think for too long we've been ignoring most of the important questions. For example, like when Barack Obama got elected, we were under this notion that racism just ended and everything's fine. We have the first president who's African American, whose father was Muslim, and we think the whole world has changed. But we have to keep on talking about it more. We have to address these issues, and we have to keep knowing that racism is always going to change its face in every generation, but it's always going to be there. So we have to. The more we discuss, the more we address these issues, the better it will be.
Well, thank you, Nafil, for taking the time to be here with us.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.
Coming up on Hunter News Now, we'll find out if the Hawks dominated at last week's wrestling tournament and dive deeper into the results of the swim team as their season comes to an end. All that and more when we return. Welcome back. The theater department has revived Mackinac, a 90-year-old drama about a woman's struggle for freedom. Directed by off-Broadway director and choreographer Lee Sunday Evans, the play has been running since March 1st and will have its final show on March 10th. Tickets are free for Hunter students.
That's the play where our producer Harris is acting.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I gotta go check it out.
On to our sports roundup with Victor Tiburcio. How are we doing?
Well, guys, let's start with the Hunter wrestling team. The Hunters wrestling team capped off its season with the NCAA Mideast Regional Tournament last week. Several wrestlers scored points for the Hawks as Ronaldo Rodriguez got a win over his opponent from Rochester Tech in round 3 of the consolation bracket. Sergey Thomas also scored a point for the Hawks, but unfortunately no qualifiers for the national tournament. The men's basketball also finished up their season last week when they lost to number 5 ranked John Jay College. The number 4 ranked Hawks ended the year with 12 wins and 14 losses for their overall record and a conference record of 8 wins and 8 losses, which is the most CUNYAC wins in 8 years. The swimming and diving team closed the books on their season this past weekend at the conference championships hosted by Rutgers University. The Hawks had one lone qualifier, senior standout Alexandra Rubiano, who placed 7th in the 100-yard butterfly. And finally, I had a chance to catch up with the volleyball team this weekend. You may remember they had a blockbuster season last year, winning the CUNYAC championship. Well, this year's proving to be a little more challenging, guys.
The Hunter College men's volleyball team earned its 3rd straight win this Saturday morning, defeating Mount St. Vincent in 3 sets with scores of 25-10, 25-11, and 25-21. The Hawks scored many points from Sebastian Vargas, Hogan, and Jaben Mui to score 6 straight points and extend their advantage to 19-8. From there, they finished off with a 6-0 run to make the second 25-11. Many people in the stands, like Janice Amoruso, a fan of Mount St. Vincent, had strong opinions about the game.
It was really great. Mount St. Vincent played their heart out. They were up, and then they just kind of lost it at the end. But great game by all. Hunter's playing awesome.
The Hunter Hawks expressed some cautious optimism in today's victory.
I feel like our team is much better than how we showed, but it was a good team win. We were able to start blocking the ball well at the end of the game, and it turned into points, turned into a nice sweep.
The Hunter Hawks suffered a big setback last semester when many of their senior members graduated.
We lost a lot of important players in our starting lineup last year, so this year's kind of been a rebuilding year for us. So we're just trying to find that new team identity and get into our rhythm.
A rigorous daily routine for the Hunter Hawks has paid off in victory.
A lot of the team, we work out every day in the gym as far as getting stronger, lifting weights, running, getting more endurance. And we've been practicing every day, 2 hours, really focused.
The team lost a lot of its top players when seniors graduated last year, but talking to the guys, they're cautiously optimistic about this season.
Thanks, Victor.
No problem.
One college sport that you may not know much about is fencing. In fact, only 4 CUNY universities offer women's fencing, and Hunter College is home to one of those teams. The women compete against Queens College, City College, and John Jay, but also D1 teams like Army, NYU, and Brown University. The team season just wrapped up in January, led by senior captain Jessica Hall, who was our Scholar Athlete of the Week.
They call it physical chess, and I love that because it really is a mental sport. It requires a lot of thinking and discipline. My name is Jessica Hall, also known as Jay Hall, and I am the Hunter Hawks fencing team captain. I started fencing when I was about 10 or 11. I think I first hated fencing because it happened every Saturday morning at 8 o'clock. It just became part of my life, and then I just grew to love it. I started fencing here at Hunter my freshman year. Coach called me and he was telling me about fencing at Hunter. I was like, I don't know, because I really didn't want to continue fencing anymore. I feel like I had crossed that bridge, ready to start something new. So when I joined the team, I automatically fell in love with it. My junior year, coach made me captain. I didn't feel so much pressure because there were still people on the team who were older than me. So even though I was the captain, I didn't have that super position of authority yet, or so I didn't feel like I had it. But now it's a lot of new people. They're all younger than me, so when I speak, they really listen. They're really soaking in my words. After we run through footwork drills, we'll go into fencing. So you'll suit up, which is when you put all your gear on, your whites we call them, so everything that's white, and then you put on your electrical gear, which is the wires and the silver thing, which we call the lame, and then your mask and all your wire clips and everything. Hold it in your right hand and then just push it through. You can do it, right? Yeah. Thank you. Being so engrossed in fencing as team captain, we practice 4 times a week. We have a competition once or twice a week. So it's a lot. Make me winner, right? And then taking 18 credits, working, and friends and family. Definitely balancing it all is the biggest challenge. But I try to always think to myself, as captain, this is the role that I've chosen to adopt. So I try to do my best at each and every one of them.
Coming up on Hunter News Now, we'll find out what WHCS Hunter's own radio station has lined up for the spring semester and how you can be part of it.
And we'll discover what makes a single cookie the most expensive item in our vending machines. All this and more when we return. Welcome back. WHCS, also known as Hunter College Speaks Radio, is back on air with a new spring semester lineup. The radio station is introducing some new hosts and shows that focus on everything from sports to politics. Crystal Rand has more on how the station is trying to raise its profile and grow its audience.
Good afternoon and welcome. You're now tuning into a segment called Three Pointer here at WHCS Radio.
Alonso Espinoza,
a journalism student who was a show host at WHCS, recently aired his new show, Three Pointers, with his co-host, Daniel Berger, who was a computer science student.
We just talk basketball, talk basically the big issues of the NBA. Not issues, I wouldn't say issue, I'd say the most important points that are happening within that week.
Alonzo says that many of the students at Hunter who work with the station often go in and out of the radio station room to socialize and listen into the shows. However, many students at Hunter have yet to listen into the radio station, nor are even aware of the shows that go on.
As a matter of fact, I do not know about the radio station, but the best way to actually to get it more known is to probably invite more people to talk into the radio show. Maybe.
While the radio station is trying to grow their audience, they also want to build up their production team. The WHCS team encourages anyone who has a creative outlet to join the radio station.
So my goal for the radio station is for it to be help for creative people to come together and just create a masterpiece. We do a lot of other things besides just on-air shows.
Ulrich says that he wants more videographers, photographers, and artists of all kinds from Hunter to be able to fulfill his vision that he has for the radio station. WHCS is currently looking for new show hosts and are offering for Hunter students to pitch their own show ideas. And if you want to put a face to the voice you hear on air, they're also hosting a coffee house event in the 3rd floor Glass Cafe in the West Building. Crystal Rand, Hunter News Now.
Finally, a new eating on the menu for Hunter students who raid the vending machines when they get the munches. It's a cookie.
Ah, but it's no ordinary cookie. It's Lenny and Larry's concoction called the Complete Cookie. For those of you who have not tried it, it's a vegan cookie with a whopping 16 grams of protein, and at $4 a cookie, it's also the most expensive item in Hunter's vending machines. $4 a cookie. You could ride the MTA for less than that.
Do you get full? And that's all for this edition of Hunter News Now.
Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you again in 2 weeks.